Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. No, it's not Wagyu, it's Wagyu steaks and chops. When you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, the king of all those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes, I'll tell you what, even those short rib of beef, half-pound burgers, I've never had a Wagyu half-pound burger so good in my life. And again, the best of the best from A1 to A5, and I mean good stuff, folks. If you don't know what that is, you better check out the charts of what A5, actually it's A5 on the low side, all the way up to A1. And if you don't know what that is, again, folks, check it out. I mean, the best of the best steaks I've ever had. Probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out again at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call. Find out what's for dinner. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. All right, a big welcome in everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Everybody watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild, Charter, and independent cable affiliates in select markets where applicable. Thanks for joining us there, as well as Hotel TV, again, where applicable. Also on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook, a fun group. Talk about your favorite foods, your favorite restaurants, your favorite recipes. Make some friends, have some fun on Facebook with Chicago Food Favorites. All right, also, our friends over at Vacation Buddies are giving away a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas or in Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri, if you can answer a very, very simple trivia question. Which of these three is the tallest structure in Las Vegas? Is it A, the Eiffel Tower at the Paris Hotel and Casino, B, the Fontainebleau Hotel and Casino, or C, the Stratosphere Tower at the Strat? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they want to give you a couple of nights in Vegas, Orlando, or Branson if you know the answer to that very simple trivia question. If so, 888-576-5777. Call now. All right. Now, if you've been following this show, if you've been listening very close over the last several days, what you may have noticed is that Sal the Bookmaker has been absolutely right in his analysis of the World Series.
Show me the money!
That's right, folks. And I have to tell you, all the way back to when I did the preview for the World Series, I had gone pitcher by pitcher, hitter by hitter, looking at these games, looking at the matchup, looking at the experience level and the abilities from a switch hitter to a dedicated lefty or righty. Then I was looking at lefty-lefty matchups, righty-righty matchups. Folks, I went through this painstakingly to make sure that you were well aware of and well prepared if you were a bettor on the World Series. And I have to tell you, I've even been a bettor on the World Series as well. And I am 3-0 in my bets that I have placed personally on the World Series, but my picks have been spot on. I've had Game 1, Toronto, Game 2, LA, Game 3, LA, Game 4, Toronto, and Game 5, Toronto. That's right. All of them have been right. And I actually have Toronto in 6. So by the time you hear this, You may or may not know the World Series winner because then again, in different markets, we're on at different times. In Atlanta, for example, if you're listening, you're waking up with us, we're on at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. But if you're in Auburn, Alabama, right down the road, Montgomery or Columbus, Georgia, whatnot, listening in on WAUD, home of the Atlanta Braves, well, guess what? You may be hearing this before the game goes off. I don't know. My point is, go back and listen to the episodes. Folks, I have been spot on when it comes to these games. And you should be making some real money in these games if you're betting.
Show me the money!
I showed you the picks. All you have to do is make your transactions. Of course, I don't advocate for that, but I'm just saying, this is me with good information. And for those that went to info@thesportscircus.com and picked up some consulting from me, well, guess what? It seems like you have made money in 5 straight games in the World Series, let alone the college football games from the week previous. And I gave some of the picks for the NFL. In fact, that was in yesterday's program. I mean, come on. This is like fishing with dynamite, folks. And if you're not doing it, I don't understand it. Seriously. Either way, it doesn't matter because
I always tell the truth. Even when I lie.
But in any event, folks, I mean, my analysis has been right. And think about this. You've got a rookie out there pitching for the Blue Jays, but this is not your regular rookie. Oh, no. I mean, he's been fast-tracked to the bigs. But Trey Yasevich has really brought the Dodgers to their knees. I mean, truly. And this guy, again, you could say, well, he's a rookie sensation. This guy struck out 12 over 7 in Game 5. And remember, they were thinking, well, geez, why is a rookie starting Game 1? Well, maybe it's because management has a lot of faith in this kid. And he's got stuff that, I got to tell you, folks, if you've never seen a pitcher before, you say, all right, they got one over on us on his first outing. But his second outing, we've already seen everything he's got. Well, not so fast! Because what Trey Yasevich did is he shut down the Dodgers yet again. Game 1 and Game 5. So for all you Dodger fans out there, I mean, look, hey, listen, my uncle played in the Dodger organization. I mean, I'm rooting for him, but you can't bet where your heart is. You've got to be smart when it comes to betting. And you can chop it up however you want. Well, this is happening, this is happening. The money will tell you how much you're going to win or lose, technically, depending on the opening line versus the closing line. But if you're not following the money on these and you're not listening to the proper analysis, I mean, look, you can hear all the analytics you want. The analytics don't mean diddly you know what. Better yet, they don't mean diddly. Right. So, end of day, as we look at all the metrics of what has happened, this is only a recap of this discussion I had prior to the World Series starting in the first place. So if you paid attention to the pre-World Series pitching analysis I did over a week ago, then you would have said, you know what? He was right about that. But if you didn't listen to it, then you weren't paying attention, because if you were, you would have made a little bit of money.
Show me the money!
In the grand scheme of things. But I have to tell you, I had Toronto winning in 6, and I still believe they're going to win in 6. That's what's going to happen here, and I just don't see it any other way. Remember, this is a group of lunch pail guys that get out there and they break their back and they will deliver. They're like the roadies that set up for a concert. They're out there setting up. They're out there tearing down. And if they're not doing their job, guess what? Whoever the star is isn't going to play in the first place, or they won't have the venue set up properly. So believe me, that's what the Blue Jays remind me of. They are a lunch pail gang, and I'm happy to see them in front because I really believe that they are the better, fully put together team. So back to Yasevich. I mean, striking out 12 in 7 innings in World Series Game 5. I think that's phenomenal. And it set an all-time rookie record. That goes back to 1949. The great Don Newcomb did it with the Brooklyn Dodgers. He actually struck out 11 in 1949. That's right. And you can't say, well, it's a juiced ball in today's time. No, the pitcher is the pitcher is the pitcher. And they're not spinning it any differently than they did back in the day. This guy just has really good stuff. And yeah, he has placed his name among some of the greats, as I just mentioned. And it's not by an accident. Look, he also became just the second pitcher in World Series history with 10 or more strikeouts through the first 5. And guess who did that? Oh, that's right, the great Sandy Koufax. He did it in Game 1 of the 1963 World Series. And Yosevich is also the first pitcher in Major League Baseball history to do that twice within the same postseason. Yes! That's unbelievable. So if you think, or if the Dodgers think, okay, we're going to see everything this kid's got, and we're going to be able to put him away early, I don't think so. Because he struck out a whole bunch before. He did it in other games leading up to the World Series. And I tell you what, this guy is legit. And remember, the Blue Jays had to play some really tough teams in the road to the World Series on top of it. And they had to get by a very, very difficult Seattle team that was loaded with hitting. And Seattle had the best pitching from top to bottom in baseball. They just didn't get the timely hits. I mean, they lost in a very tough series to the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays earned it. They were the best team in the American League all year. And if you think this World Series is some kind of a stroke of luck for Toronto, you better guess again, folks. They're going to put them away. Back here in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at UppercutChops.com.
Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. They've been with us since the very beginning, folks, way back in 2016. Yes, this is a long-running show. We've done thousands of shows, and they have been with us, being the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, for a long, long time. And we always want to call them out because not only are they good people, it's a good organization within the college itself. And I believe that the College of Southern Nevada, who I had taken classes with as well, is the best school right here in the greater Las Vegas market. That's right, better than that university that they claim to have here that I'm really not a fan of for a bunch of reasons. If they really, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, if they focused on academics, how they do on some of their athletics, maybe, just maybe, I would give it some academic recognition. That's the best way to say it. But for the last 25 years, folks, I have been an academic recruiter for one of the best universities in the world. And I know what the local university, the large local university, if you will, there are two of them now, what the large local university has to offer, but I also know the resources, and in my opinion, I don't see them putting the money into the academics like they should. They're more concerned about playing in big stadiums and all this other crap and getting their money and all this other stuff. And guess what? If they spent all that time and energy on academics, maybe they would get a little bit more love from academia in the first place, but they really don't, and it's for very, very good reason. Nonetheless, so that's the soapbox for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Listen, they're a good bunch of people, really good athletics. I mean, think about the baseball team. How many players have gone from junior college baseball and one of the best JUCO programs in the nation to professional baseball? Hundreds have passed through their doors and played on their field. Check them out, folks. csncoyotes.com. And of course, they get the super applause, the extended super applause, because I can. All right, welcome back to everybody listening in on our radio and television affiliates, including our friends waking up with us, as I mentioned previously, WDJY 99.1 FM over in Atlanta, driving home 7 p.m., listening in from Columbus, Georgia to Montgomery, Alabama, all the way, I guess the points in between, and with the home base in Auburn. So War Eagle out there, WAUD, that is home of the Atlanta Braves. Thanks for tuning in there. Everybody else up and down the Midwest, out to the West Coast, that's driving between Los Angeles, the greater Southern California, and Las Vegas, right here in Las Vegas, on Interstate 15, driving in, listening in on Highway Country Radio 101.5 and 107.3 FM. Thanks for joining us there as well as 7 p.m. That's right, that's home of the Vegas Golden Knights and the Las Vegas Raiders as well, and home of the Sports Circus at 7 p.m., of course, Monday through Friday. And a big hello to our friends up and down from San Diego all the way up to Anchorage, along the West Coast, out to Honolulu, CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the Raiders. I'm sorry, home of the 49ers, home of the New York Yankees, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Plus, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild Charter, and independent cable affiliates where applicable, as well as Hotel TV, and plus all of those streaming on Pick Your Favorite Streamer and Chicago Food Favorites. All right, now that we've gone through all of that, we do want to make mention, in case you're just tuning in right now, that our friends over at Vacation Buddies are giving away a couple of nights in Las Vegas, Orlando, or Branson, Missouri, if you can answer a simple trivia question. Now, I read that off in the beginning of the show, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat that just in case you're just tuning in right now. Which of these is the tallest structure out of these three right here in Las Vegas? Is it A, the Eiffel Tower at the Paris Hotel and Casino, B, the Fontainebleau Hotel and Casino. That is a very big hotel. It's the tallest one here in Vegas, folks, in case you're wondering. Or C, mind you, it's the structure. So is it the Eiffel Tower? Is it the Fontainebleau Hotel and Casino as the building itself? Or is it the Stratosphere Tower at the Strat? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Remember, Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they want you to travel, have some fun with a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri. 888-576-5777. Call now. Okay, now I do want to button up this with Yasevich because, man, this guy is really, really out there dealing in the highest pressure situation in baseball in the World Series. Now, just imagine. Everybody's focused on show me the money, Shohei Ohtani.
Show me the money!
Shohei Ohtani. And yeah, he's good for the game, etc. and so forth. And he seems to be a very polite guy. But everyone's looking at Ohtani. Now, I have pointed out all season long where Ohtani is weak at the plate. And of course, I have been debated by various coaches and management and whatnot from Major League Baseball. And I even got into a nice dispute with a former manager, and Bobby's a great guy, with Bobby Valentine. And Bobby Valentine saw Ohtani up close for about 7 years in Anaheim, thereabouts. And he disputed with me of how to get him out. Because I just said, look, end of day, Ohtani is a better pitcher than he is a hitter. Ohtani doesn't do well with inside pitches. Why does it matter? Because A, he can't get around on him. He can't get his hands around on anything up and in. You bust him up and in, he cannot get around it. The only place he could put the ball, if it's up and in and he makes contact, is straight up in the air, or he'll be able to beat it into the ground on a 99 hopper to first base. That's about it. And if he happens to be able to pull it, he'll be so far ahead of it that the ball will literally be 100 feet foul. And what I'm looking at here is a graphic of how Yasevich handled Ohtani. And this is ideal because what they did, and I believe Alejandro Kirk was calling the pitches, but they had the perfect plan for him. We're going to bust him up and in, up and in, up and in, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that ball is in high and tight on him. And this way, they've got him thinking, all right, they're going to try to jam me. And then what he would do is he opens his hip up, trying to hit an outside pitch, and it's like Little League. He flies open, and imagine this. If you know baseball, you know what I'm talking about. So his hip flies open, he pulls his head out, and then his ass sticks straight out in the air, which is kind of comical watching it. And what does he end up doing? He ends up swinging and missing on a low and away slider or splitter or something to the effect. He just, for the life of him, doesn't do well with those corner pitches, low and away or high and tight. And that's where his cold zones are, right? If you look at his hot zones, it's basically everything else. You cannot let this guy get his hands extended. So if you are going to pitch it outside, it's got to be low and away, basically tailing right at the corner of the strike zone or off the plate. That's the only way he's going to miss something with his hands extended, because he is a good middle in, middle out hitter. Boy, just like any other Major League Baseball hitter, that's what they do. They're very good at extending those hands and putting the ball in play. These are professional hitters, folks. Come on. So what Yasevich did to neutralize Ohtani was masterful. And what he did from, if you compare Yasevich's pitching to Ohtani's pitching, I got to tell you, folks, it is all about Yasevich at this point. And if you're saying, is he the MVP of the World Series? No, he's not the MVP of the World Series. Ironically, although he's had one hell of a trip into big league baseball. I mean, think about this. I mean, the guy starting out pitching A-ball. He was pitching A-ball over in, they call it Dunedin, but you can call it Dunedin, Florida. He was pitching A-ball to start the season. That's right. And now he's in Game 5 of the World Series. So from April to October, this guy has climbed all the way through the ranks. And he was making teenagers look foolish with his incredible splitty in largely empty ballparks across the Florida State League. And mind you, going into Dodger Stadium in capacity, in the World Series, a pivotal game, which likely would determine who was going to win the World Series, gives the one team a one-game advantage with 2 games left, right? So it's 3-2 at this point. But when you look at it, you say, this kid had one hell of a journey as a 22-year-old. And I got to tell you, boy, at 22 years of age, I mean, I was still pitching like this kid. And I was working my way up through, and, eventually I made it. But I got to tell you, it is a tough, tough journey. And this kid forced 23 swings and misses from the Dodgers. That's the most of any pitcher in the World Series since pitch tracking actually began. I mean, that deserves an astounding round of applause. Yes! And that is one hell of a performance. Win or lose, it doesn't even matter. You got to root for somebody that's doing that anyway, and really just making the other team look awful. But at the end of this whole thing, it won't be the World Series MVP. It would be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with his 8 home runs, and man, he hits them when they count. This guy hits them, and all you could do is applaud. When you think of what his old man did, it was incredible. But when you think of what this kid is doing, I mean, he's on the brink of tying Arozarena's 10th postseason home run. He's just a couple shy of that, and we'll see what he can do in the next game or two. All right, back here in a few minutes on The Circus. We're going to shift into college football after one baseball topic. Don't go anywhere.
If I was your mother and you had a drug problem, I'd grab you by the ear and make you call and get help. You can be in treatment tomorrow and start to get clean in 7 days. Follow Mom's advice and call the Detox and Treatment Helpline now. Write this number down.
800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. That's 800-814-8628.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself and what I needed. I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life on life's terms.
800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. That's 800-426-4994.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. That's 800-876-7041.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the MTV studio, AAMP Television. Folks, make sure to check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, recorded shows which could be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer, you name it, we're there. You can't get away from us, probably even on the Mars rover. Also, make sure you check out the partners page. Lots of great partners over there. Our favorite is Al's #1 Italian Beef, 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy, 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. And if you can't make it over there for some good grinds, guess what? You can check them out at alsbeef.com. alsbeef.com. You can pick up some wonderful supplies there. And I have to tell you, folks, if you've never had the Italian beef sandwich, boy, are you missing out. It's the same idea as the Philly cheesesteak sandwich, but 100 times better. That's right, folks. It is so different. It looks similar, but it tastes incredibly different, and man, is it good. It is something special. Folks, you could read about the creation of it. They are the creators. 117 years ago, they created this incredible sandwich. They opened up shop in 1938, many years later, after serving throughout the neighborhood. There's a great story there. You can read about it. And they have been featured on Pick Your Favorite cooking channels and I think Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I think they were on that. Anthony Bourdain and Andrew Zimmer and I think, what's that other one? The Kitchen with, what's that guy's name? Oh, darn it. He went to my high school. And Jeff Morrow. All right, so Jeff Morrow is about 10 years behind me at Oak Park and River Forest High School in Oak Park, Illinois, suburban Chicago. Anyway, Al's #1 Italian Beef has been featured all over the place. TV, radio, movies, you name it. Hell, we just shot a series pilot a couple of weeks ago. We finished up doing that. We did two shoots over there, and for probably about 2 or 3 hours at Al's #1 Italian Beef. And I have to tell you, folks, the food is so good. It's recognizable. It's iconic. It's good. I talk about it because I like it, and I'm not the only one, folks. A lot of people like it. Check it out, alsbeef.com. All right, a little bit of housekeeping here for Major League Baseball, and sticking with that National League West, even though the Dodgers are on the brink of being defeated, how about the Padres actually narrowing down their search for new management? And let's face it, they've got money. And A.J. Preller said, really, essentially, money is really no object there. So the Padres are narrowing down their management searches, according to MLB.com. And they could be approaching a decision in the near future, according to team sources. And the list potentially hired has been narrowed to a handful, a group that includes at least Nick Hundley, Ruben Niebla, and Albert Pujols, of course, according to one source, and 1 or 2 other candidates could be in the mix as well. And so the Padres are searching for a manager after Mike Shildt stepped away on October 13th after 2 seasons in that role. Now, Shilt's one heck of a manager. So you scratch your head and say, where the heck is he going? Or is he just going to hang it up for a little while? Who knows? Maybe he's going to go to the booth and sign one of those massive contracts. Who the heck knows? In any event, there's no specific timetable for the hire, but given the Padres have advanced beyond the initial interviews, that decision could be made in the coming days. That's right. And Preller had said, quote, "It's really about getting quality candidates together and being thorough with our process," close quote. And he said that just recently. As a matter of fact, Niebla is the most prominent internal candidate as San Diego's pitching coach for the past 4 seasons. And he has previously expressed an interest in becoming a big league manager. And Niebla is well respected in the Padres clubhouse and he's gotten the most out of the team's pitching staff over the past few seasons, as a matter of fact. But Albert Pujols, of course, is the biggest name in the group, and he is a near certain future Hall of Famer. I think he's a first ballot guy. Pujols accumulated 3,384 hits and 703 home runs in his careers with the Cardinals and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, of Orange County, the Orange Curtain, of Interstate 5, of the Santa Ana Riverbed, etc., and of course with the Dodgers. Now, since returning after the 2022 season, Pujols has served as a special assistant with the Angels, and he is the manager of the Leones del Escogido, who won the 2025 Caribbean Series. In fact, I know one of the guys that actually played on that team. Very happy that Bert was the manager. Now, Huntley, over to him, he spent 12 seasons as a catcher in the Bigs, including 7 with the Padres from 08 to 14. He retired after the 19th season, as a matter of fact, and he's been a special assistant in the Rangers front office since 2022. Huntley was believed to be a candidate for the Giants job before that went to former University of Tennessee head coach Tony Vitello. Now, the list of candidates might not be limited to those 3, according to a source, though it's unclear who else might be in the mix. The Padres' hire will inherit a roster with a strong core of players, but several key questions in the offseason. Mostly that hire will be looking to build on recent success as the Padres reach the playoffs in consecutive seasons for just the second time in franchise history in 24-5. In fact, AJ Preller, GM, said, quote, "I think it's really an attractive job, and you've got 3.5 million fans coming to the ballpark year in and year out, and it's a good atmosphere as there is in the game. And it's a great organization. We produce players. We put talented rosters on the field. We go to the playoffs. I think it's a challenge of winning a World Series in a city that hasn't done it before," close quote. Well, the problem is the actual strategy they're putting out on the field in the first place. I don't think the Padres with station-to-station ball are going to get it done. And we go back to the World Series now, and it's the Dodgers. The only person that's really stealing any bases or attempting anything in the Dodgers organization is Shohei Ohtani. I don't see anybody else except station-to-station ball. Sorry, folks, that doesn't win it. You got to play small ball. You got to move runners over, stretch a double into a triple, etc., and so forth. And this is why, some of the reasoning, why the Blue Jays are up 3-2. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the Padres. We're going to shift into college football. That's right.
He could go all the way. 95.
That's right. We're going to go to college football right now, and we're going to talk about what everybody wants to hear about are the betting odds. Why? Because we're in week 10. There's only a handful of weeks left, and people like me, I love college football. College football. It's probably this is my favorite time of the year because you got all 4 sports played right now, but college football and the World Series going at the same time. You got the NHL is getting into full swing. I love that. Not a big fan of basketball anymore, and there's a whole bunch of reasons for that we don't have time for, but we're going to get into it right now. We're going to start out with the Thursday games. The Thursday games has the Thundering Herd of Marshall. This is Sal the Bookmaker. I'm switching personalities or identities right now. Now it's Sal the Bookmaker. And what does he want?
Show me the money!
That's right, and I'll show you some winners. It's the Marshall Thundering Herd traveling to play Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers. Boy, what a conundrum this game, in my opinion, is, because you've got a Marshall team that's pretty good, and you've got a Coastal team that has been historically good, I'll say in the last handful of years. They've been really good. But somehow they've seemed to have fallen off. I don't know what's going on with the Chanticleers, but what I will tell you is that they're a pretty good home squad, and Marshall opens up on the road -3, and they're up to -6.5 across the board. So the bettors firmly believe that Marshall is going to win by a touchdown, because you notice the line has not gone to 7 anywhere. It's 6.5 across the board. Got to tell you, folks, that's one of those interesting ones. Pay very close attention to. Also, on Thursday, it's the Green Wave of Tulane traveling to San Antonio to play the UTSA Roadrunners. Boy, that is a fun team to watch, but Tulane, boy, look out. Those guys have played really good ball this year. They have been solid. Opened up -3.5, and the casinos have them at, well, MGM Grand's got them at -5.5. But Hard Rock, actually Caesars has them at 5.5. Hard Rock has them at -4.5. So if you are betting Tulane, you have choices, folks, and you could go to the Hard Rock and lay one less point. So that's a really interesting one. But UTSA is an awful tough team at home. I tell you what, folks, I'm inclined to take the points in UTSA. Now, on Halloween, it's the Memphis Tigers traveling to play the Rice Owls. Now, Memphis opens up at a lofty -17.5, and the bettors aren't buying it. The bettors are saying, you know what? It's maybe 2 touchdowns. That's it. Not 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So that line has dropped down to 14 at Caesars and MGM. It's 14.5 at Hard Rock. So if you are betting Memphis over Rice, you probably want to do that at the casinos out here in Vegas at either of MGM or Caesars Palace. Now, also on Halloween, it's the Fighting Belichicks. Travel to Syracuse, New York. Line opens up at a picket, and Syracuse is now -2.5 across the board. In fact, one of the online betting services says, you know what, we don't even want any action on this because we don't trust it. We think something very predictable is going to happen here, as do I. Folks, I'll give you this one for free. I have no idea how in the world Syracuse could ever lose to the Fighting Belichicks or UNC Chapel Hill. Sorry, this one is Syracuse going away. Back here in a few minutes with another Halloween pick, then we get into the Saturday games. Lots more to come here on the Circus. Don't go anywhere.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. That's 800-298-3173.
Owning great property is almost impossible these days. At least, that's what people keep saying. They don't know about National Premier Properties. Do you have $350 or a credit card? You can own a great piece of property in a resort community. National Premier Properties has over 51 years of experience helping people just like you purchase amazing properties across the U.S. and in Mexico, Canada, the Bahamas. It takes less than 5 minutes to turn your dream into reality. Visit nationalpremierproperties.com and make it happen now.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. A big thanks for everybody joining us today. And by the way, check out the sportscircus.com's store. Lots of great items at the store. And listen, holidays are right around the corner. And what does that mean? Maybe Christmas. Maybe pick your favorite holiday, however you celebrate. Guess what? There are lots of great items: hats, hoodies, t-shirts, coats, pants, gloves. What else do we have? We have coffee mugs, travel mugs, pillows, blankets, and mouse pads, and all kinds of neat stuff with the Clever Sports Circus logo on them. Again, that's the store at thesportscircus.com. You can see it right across the top of the toolbar. And again, it's a shameless plug for the Sports Circus. Hey, we have bills to pay too, but guess what, folks? American-made products, good products, and I have to tell you, I have several of them myself, and yeah, guess what? I have to pay for them too, if you know what I mean. All right, folks, so make sure you check that out. That's the store at thesportscircus.com. All right, welcome back to everybody on TV and radio. You know who you are. Everybody streaming on Pick Your Favorite Streamer. Everybody on Chicago Food Favorites, thanks for joining us there as well. And that is Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Check that out, folks. Talk about your favorite restaurants in this group, your favorite foods, your favorite recipes. Post them, do whatever you got to do. Just don't spam the group, because I'm the administrator and I'll kick your ass off of there. So you don't want that. All right, folks, back here with college football and the betting odds from Sal the Bookmaker. Left off with Memphis and Rice. Talked about Carolina visiting Syracuse. Syracuse was my free one. Also on Halloween is Sam Houston. Sam Houston travels to Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech opens up minus 17.5. It's up to or down to 16.5 across the board. And Louisiana Tech looks like a very, very safe pick there. But that's kind of a border war, so watch out for that one. Now here's one of those ones that really makes your head scratch. And now I'm a Duke alum, and I'm seeing Duke is traveling down to Clemson, down to Death Valley. And this is not the best version of Dabo Swinney that we've seen. Duke opens up plus 3.5 down to 2.5. And so here, now you get a chance to bet the home team minus 2.5. And that's essentially across the board. And whenever you have that opportunity with such a home field advantage at Death Valley, it screams, why wouldn't you bet Clemson minus 2.5 at home over Duke? But Duke has a defense now. So we don't know, are we going to see one of those 21-17 kind of a games? Or are we going to see a 19-17 game? Something weird could happen, maybe a safety. I don't know. But, you just sit back, grab some popcorn, watch the game. And unlike this one here, with Penn State travels to Columbus to play Ohio State. And listen, folks, this is kind of crazy. Because Ohio State opens up minus 4.5, and the current line is 20.5. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't really recall seeing a 16-point swing. It's actually 21 at two of the online services. That is insane. Wow. Well, in any event, this one looks like the home team should run away with this one because Penn State is really bad this year. Mind you, they opened up, I think, as the second-ranked team in the nation, too. Imagine that. Now they're in the toilet. Anyway, okay, more Saturday games. And it's Buffalo. The Bulls travel to Bowling Green. Bowling Green opens up 1.5, and they're essentially at 1.5 across the board. And I'm a believer in the Buffalo Bulls, but I don't know how they're going to play in Ohio, right down Interstate 75. And Buffalo doesn't play that well on the road, so you may want to think about that one. How about this one? How about the services matching up? And it's the cadets from Army. The only thing they do is run the ball, and they run it better than just about everybody else because that's really all they do. Now they travel over to Colorado Springs to play the Air Force Academy, the smart guys in the group. But then again, West Point, there's some real smart guys over there. Boy, I tell you, if I had a choice to go between West Point and the Air Force Academy, man, that's a coin flip because, I mean, you want to talk about setting yourself up for the future? Mercy. Either one of those, man, some very smart humans over there. Now, in football, Army opens up -1.5. And now the line is Air Force -1.5. And so essentially that's the 3-point swing for the home field advantage. Home field in football is worth 3 points. And that's what you're looking at here. And so the bettors have moved it to 1.5. So if you're lucky enough to get over to the Hard Rock, if you're here in Las Vegas or traveling over here, well, you could actually get the game at -0.5. So technically, all you got to do is win the game. That's it. So that's essentially a pick it. That's the best pick on the board if you're going to be betting the Air Force Academy. And if you're going to be betting the cadets, well, you're going to want to be at the MGM because they're a +1.5. Caesars is +1. And of course, the Hard Rock is only +0.5 point. All right, moving on to a very good matchup. And this one is the Longhorns of Texas are hosting the Commodores of Vanderbilt. Texas opens up -3.5. And currently they're -2.5 across the board. Vandy is one tough bunch, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Vanderbilt win this game by double digits. Watch out for that one. Here's another one that you may overlook if you're in the betting world. Illinois, the Fighting Illini open up -10.5, and the current line is -12.5 across the board. Now, Rutgers had a really inspired game in their previous game. The question is, can they do it on the road? And Illinois is really fighting for some kind of possibility of playing in one of those college football playoff bowl games, which a lot has to happen for them to get there. But Illinois is a quality club, and I'm not sure that they're going to get there. But I'll tell you what, Illinois -12.5, as long as it's under 14, I think you're in good shape. How about the Dragons of University of Alabama, Birmingham, traveling up to play the UConn Huskies? Now imagine this. UConn has been a terrible football team historically, and they haven't had a football team for a long time, but historically they've been bad. But now, as one of the only two independents with Notre Dame. Anyway, UConn opens up -12.5 against the UAB Dragons, and it's 11.5 essentially across the board except at Hard Rock. It's the same opening line. And what this means is essentially the bettors don't know what to do with this game. So if it opens up at X and it's still X, the bettors don't know what to do. And when there's only a little bit of action, the line moves. So for example, a couple of bettors or some bettors have put some money on in the MGM and at Caesars, so the line dropped to 11.5. But what we're looking at is you get the right number if you're betting UAB, and frankly, you want to go to the Hard Rock because you're getting 12.5 over there. Now, Central Florida travels to Baylor over to Waco, Texas. Baylor opens up -4.5, and they're down to 3.5 across the board. I don't see Baylor beating anybody. And even if they do win, they'll probably win by a field goal. Central Florida's a quality squad. And so Central Florida looks like an absolute lock +3.5. That's across the board. Miami travels to SMU. They're traveling over to Dallas. And now Miami opens up at 2.5, and the line is up to 12.5. That's a big number, folks. That's a really big number on the road, and it's pretty tough to play over there where the Mustangs play. I'm going to take those 12.5 with SMU all day on Saturday and twice on Sunday. The Mountaineers of West Virginia travel down to Houston to play the Cougars. Cougars opened up at 15.5, and now they're down to -13.5 across the board. That's a game to just watch it, stay away from it. I think Houston will cover the 2 touchdowns, but I'll stay away from it. The Naval Academy travels to play the Mean Green of North Texas, one of the great names in football as far as the mascots go. And the North Texas Mean Green open up 4.5. They're up to -6.5 across the board. And that's another one. Just sit back and watch. If you had to bet it, I would consider taking the 6.5 with Navy. Arizona State, who is still missing some players, they travel over to Ames, Iowa to play the Cyclones. Iowa State opens up -3, and they're up to 7.5, 8.5 at the Hard Rock, and that could be a washout. The Pirates of East Carolina travel to Philadelphia to play the Temple Owls. Now, East Carolina opens up 4.5, and they're up to 5.5. So if you do want to bet East Carolina, you can still get them at 4.5 at Hard Rock and MGM. Caesars got them at 5. All right, moving on. Louisville travels to Vatech. We covered this one a couple of days ago. Louisville minus 11 to open. They're 10.5 across the board. Watch out for Vatech in that one. It's a lot of points. Home team UNLV minus 5.5 open, 3.5 across the board. They look like a lock at 3.5 against New Mexico. Moving on. Raging Cajuns of Louisiana travel to South Alabama. Line opens up South Alabama minus 4.5, and it's basically 4.5 to 5, or 4.5 to 3.5 across the board. Stay away from that one if I was you. Notre Dame travels up to Boston to play the Eagles. They're playing Boston College. Line opens up Notre Dame minus 27.5. They're up to 28.5 across the board, and that one figures to be about a 50-0 game. The Pitchforks, the Indiana Hoosiers, open up minus 16.5 on the road. They're up to minus 22.5 at Maryland. I think Indiana wins. I don't think they cover. Michigan State is getting 5.5 at the open, and now it's down to 3 against Minnesota. At Minnesota, I'll take Minnesota all day and twice on Sunday on that one. Fresno State opens up plus 17.5, and they're still plus 17.5 against Boise State. That game should be a little bit closer than 17.5. Stanford hosting Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 14.5 across the board, and it should be Stanford plus 14.5 in that one. Texas Tech and Kansas State in a wild shootout. That's what this should be. Tech opens up at plus 5.5. Now they're minus 7.5. That's a 12-point swing. That tells you anything. It tells you all the bettors believe in Texas Tech. But watch out. K-State at home plus 7.5 looks pretty good. Old Domino and Louisiana Monroe. Good game there. We're going to have to speed this up a little bit. Old Domino minus 17. And yeah, watch that game. Old Domino should win the game. There should be no issue there. The Blue Hens of Delaware are getting 3.5 from Liberty. Liberty's not the same Liberty they were. Liberty doesn't look as good as Delaware. Delaware looks good. I watched them last game. Watch out for those guys. Delaware plus 3.5. New Mexico State at Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky should beat this team by 50 points. And you're only laying 8.5. Western Kentucky all day. Georgia and Florida on the border war. That one's always a tight game. Watch out for that one. Florida with the points. Virginia and Cal. 4.5. And it's Virginia going away. Central and Western Michigan play each other. Western Michigan's the better of the two. Miss State and Arkansas. Arkansas is clearly the better team. Miss State will keep it close. Oak State and Kansas going away. Purdue will get clobbered by Michigan in the big house. Lay the 21. Arizona visits Dion, and it's Arizona's game. South Carolina and Ole Miss. Ole Miss has their way with South Carolina. They shot theirs last week. Wyoming visits San Diego State. This one is Wyoming plus 10.5 in the unthinkable. The Paperclips of Oklahoma. So it's the Oklahoma Sooners against Tennessee at Rocky Top. This one's Rocky Tops because they play a little bit of defense more than Oklahoma. Wake plays Florida State. Florida State going away. Georgia Tech all day over NC State. Washington State kills Oregon State. Kentucky loses to Auburn. USC beats Nebraska in Nebraska. Arkansas State loses to the men of Troy. Cincinnati with a loss coming up at Utah. Hawaii will lose to San Jose State. James Madison, the Dukes, over Texas State, and so forth and so on. We have Missouri State with a loss and Middle Tennessee with a loss too. That's going to do it for the circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sel. We'll see you in 23 hours right here on your favorite station. Till then, so long, everyone.
Owning great property is almost impossible these days. At least that's what people keep saying. They don't know about National Premier Properties. Do you have $350 or a credit card? You can own a great piece of property in a resort community. National Premier Properties has over 51 years of experience helping people just like you purchase amazing properties across the U.S. and in Mexico, Canada, the Bahamas. It takes less than 5 minutes to turn your dream into reality. Visit nationalpremierproperties.com and make it happen now.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.